You guys know that I have been eagerly anticipating Tower of Fantasy ever since it was announced last year. And I mean, it looks so good. How could I not be? I've done multiple videos on Tower of Fantasy over the course of the year, videos in specific that have gone on to garner hundreds of thousands of views. So with this in mind, it is very apparent that you guys are equally as interested in the game. But one thing that always kept me from getting truly excited for it was that the UI for the game had never been fully shown. At least not for the PC version of the game. Now, today, this video in specific is pertaining to not only the first glimpse of the UI that I have seen, but also of the complete graphical overhaul and the UI overhaul, both that have been implemented in a future version of the game. So we are taking a look at the before and after, and this video in specific was actually uploaded to RenderMax's channel. So I do want to make note of that. And like, I can tell they've added like bloom effects to it, and they have definitely upgraded the texture quality. But dude, look at the UI on the side. Before, it was so cluttered and looked so grotesquely mobile. But like, I for the very first time, I can actually tell you guys that Tower of Fantasy and Hotta Studio, the developers behind it, have taken a lot of inspiration from Genshin Impact, because this new UI actually makes the game look pretty good, and the graphical overhaul specifically looks incredible. This is definitely going to appeal to a much larger audience of players because it looks substantially better. I know a lot of players that were interested in the game, the ones that were, I guess, a little more pessimistic about it, they made note that the game didn't look as good as other games that were coming out. But I mean, after they see, look at that jetpack exploration, man. Like, after they see this, if they cannot appreciate the mass overhaul that has been done to this, then I don't really know what to tell them. Now, again, that video in specific was actually uploaded to RenderMax's channel. I don't know if that was actually done professionally by Hotta Studio or not. I'm pretty sure it was, but wow, I am very impressed by what I saw. Not only did we get a glimpse of the character models, not only did we get to see the environments and how they were altered, not only did we get to see the UI, which was the most important thing for me, but we also got to see the gameplay overhauled as well. And I know that gameplay for a lot of gamers is an integral facet of the overall game, because if the gameplay is poor, then the gameplay, which is pretty much the bulk of the game, is not going to keep you entertained long term. Now, Tower of Fantasy, if you weren't already aware, is a cross-platform, anime-inspired sci-fi MMORPG. It is completely open world. You can play alongside other players. It's not segregated. It's not a very small, condensed single player or very slightly multiplayer game like Genshin Impact. I've actually called Tower of Fantasy the MMO that Genshin Impact should have been, because, you know, a lot of players thought that Genshin Impact was going to be an MMO because initially we were kind of led to believe that it was, and then Grand Saga is pretty much just a mobile MMO that has PC cross-platform compatibility. But this Tower of Fantasy right here, man, I am even more excited than I have ever been. I'm more excited for Tower of Fantasy than I was for Genshin Impact, and I was incredibly excited for Genshin Impact. Now, I am very, very curious to get into this game and test the combat, to test the character creation, which is quite extensive from the character creation trailers I've released. I'm curious exactly what kind of MMO this is going to ultimately end up shaping into, because this very well could be, and I have mentioned this before, the biggest anime MMO release of 2021, because for those of you that are awaiting Blue Protocol is only going to release in Japan in 2021, and North America and Europe in 2022. 2022, which means the direct competition for Tower of Fantasy is PSO2 New Genesis, and we don't know how large New Genesis is really going to be. So these two games right here are going to duke it out for supremacy for the title of the best anime MMO. And let me tell you, these are both amazing looking games. But what do you guys think? Do you believe that this overhaul is going to allow Tower of Fantasy to reach new heights? Do you think that it was unnecessary? Do you think that the overhaul was just kind of a very basic overhaul, or do you think it was a really, really big overhaul? Let me know down in the comment section below and let's talk about it. Anyway, guys, that is it for me. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Someday soon, I'm gonna make it. Yeah, all hard work's gonna be worth it. Ooh.